Yo, what is up, everybody? Tried going live from the um, StreamYard platform, but for some reason it wasn't syndicating properly. So I'm going to be over here and doing my thing from just the YouTube live for right now. Maybe next week we will get the StreamYard live on Facebook also, but we have such a massive audience over here on YouTube that we just want to start hosting a lot more of our content live on YouTube. So, you guys, I got so many great questions coming up today. I have Dawson Brewer dropped a question, Perry dropped a question. I see all the questions in the groups from over the past week, so I'm going to be hitting on all those. But I want to make sure that you guys can hear me loud and clear right now. So if you guys are out there and you guys can hear me, just give me a little thumbs up or drop me a chat in the box. Let me just plug in my phone here and see. It's going to make a loud sound. Yo, what is up, everybody? Yep. So perfect. It actually is live. You can hear me loud and clear. But realistically, like if you have a channel right now and you're like, I'm just not getting the leads that I want, I'm going to go through the 7 primary limiters that are actually holding you back from generating more leads. Whether it's, your traffic sources, your average view duration, your AVD, your device type, whether you've got ads or shorts on your channel. We all know that those are a big disaster, and I don't know why I have to keep going through this every single week, but it just seems like, it just is. Do you have videos popping off in your 48-hour live feed? We're going to go through all those. And the thing is, here's the thing, is there are front end limiters to your channel, which are the things I just mentioned, those 7 primary limiters, but also there's back end limiters, which could be like your onboarding sequencing, your post call sequencing, your speed to lead, your CRM setup. All of those things are back end limiters. What I like to focus on today are the front end limiters. And if you guys have more questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box and I will get through all of those questions. When it comes down to building a YouTube channel, imagine you're on a road and it's a 5-lane freeway and you only have one car on the road. That freeway was built. You just don't have enough traffic coming in to that freeway to make the use of all 5 lanes of traffic. But imagine it's Los Angeles. There's hundreds of thousands of cars on the road, and 5 lanes isn't enough. Then you need to open up that freeway, create more lanes because you have so much traffic. Our goal here at the Channel Junkies is to put the most impactful traffic into your channel and then have the system to bring those leads into the system and nurture them and convert them into high-paying clients. Now, there's so many people out there teaching YouTube now. I actually just got hit with massive amounts of ads over the past 2 days from even Tom Ferry teaching YouTube for listings. Now I'm seeing other people saying listings on YouTube is this blue ocean and there's all these opportunities. Here's the thing. I've done listings on YouTube. I've done relocation buyers on YouTube, and relocation buyers at the end of the day is 99% of the leads that are coming off of YouTube. And the thing that I love about them is that they have a referral to give where they're moving from. Typically they have higher credit. They are shopping at a higher price point. And then they according to NAR, they move 3 times faster than any other type of home buyer out there. So instead of that 7 to 10 year relist process, typically, if it's 3 times faster, you're talking 2.5 years on the low end to 3.5 years on the high end. So that's an average. So if you think about that from that perspective, you're going to get 4 deals from one client on average. That is why YouTube, in my opinion, is the single greatest tool that we've ever built in the real estate industry. And I will fight that battle and have that conversation over and over and over. And at the end of the day, it's whatever you're putting the time and energy into that's generating leads is what you should be focused on. So let's talk about limiter number 1, which is your consistency. Your consistency on your channel is always going to be the foundation of doing a real estate YouTube channel. Consistency helps YouTube learn exactly who you are and also who your videos are for. When you post videos regularly about the same topic, YouTube starts to understand your audience. Then it starts to recommend your videos to those exact same people. If you post randomly or if you change your topics all the time, YouTube gets confused and doesn't know who your videos are actually for. So when you post consistently, YouTube builds trust on your channel and sends you to more viewers. So this actually kind of plays into Dawson's question, which was he was asking, why is all of my traffic coming in from search? And the reality is we are striving for 70% to be in browse and suggested. And we'll talk about that limiter here next. But when you talk about mixing up and giving your audience signals, it's if you're his channel specifically, and if you're watching Dawson, this is for you. Your channel, your number one video was 3D printing homes in Austin, Texas. It's like 100,000 views. And then your second biggest video was a video about DR Horton. And then your third video was something completely different. So if you think about that, that's 3 different traffic types. You have 3D printed homes, you have DR Horton homes, and then you have some other random video. The reality is that is all confusion to the YouTube algorithm. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you can just put all real estate related videos on YouTube and you're perfectly fine. That is 100% false. That is like an overarching category. But inside of that, we are focused on one core targeted consumer base. And for me, it's relocation. Why is it relocation? Because YouTube has already proven to me that 99% of the traffic that comes onto YouTube that home sells or buys is relocation. No one is typing out, how to sell my house in Boise, Idaho. Could they type in, how to sell my house without a real estate agent? Yes. And now you're focusing on for sale by owners. And I have seen channels generate a lot of listing leads. However, they're focused on a full, larger spectrum of content. What do I mean by that? It's how to sell my house for top dollar. How do I get the most out of my home sale? They're not. And so therefore this could be a seller seeking out information in Tampa, Florida, Seattle, Washington, DC, and you are just like this overarching lead generation portal who then could redistribute leads, which actually I know of an agent that does that. However, it's typically people that are like for sale by owner type of consumers. And now I'm seeing all of these listings, these listing training platforms trying to say, well, you can generate all these listings on YouTube. Well, yes. Can you pour your database into YouTube and use it as a library and then call it listings? Absolutely. However, getting back to YouTube as this algorithm, the whole platform is the algorithm. It's all traffic signal strength. So if I know the highest likely consumer to buy a house with me is a relocation buyer, they're willing to watch the longest, which is what YouTube is actually looking for, then I want to focus my content specifically on that specific information. And I want to do one video, one topic, one thumbnail, one specific call to action, one title, one type of audience. When I see these thumbnails that are like 5 different messages on the thumbnail, if you're seeing that thumbnail for the first time, which we know 70-90% of our viewers are seeing our stuff for the first time, it's very confusing to them. That is why it's so important to create a specific strategy and a specific funnel process for your content. So you're working your viewers from the top of the funnel to the middle of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel, and then into reaching out, giving you a call. Then you start working on your back end limiters. So you have to remember that this whole entire systems it's funnels into funnels into funnels, and then you create them into clients, and then now they're in a new funnel, right? So consistency is number one. You asked me, what's the perfect amount of videos to make per week? And the true answer is it's always going to depend. I know you hate that answer, but that's just the reality. If you ask me if I had time was no restraint on my life and I had a full crew and editing wasn't a problem, thumbnail wasn't a problem, SEO wasn't a problem, and quality wasn't a problem, I would say go for it. 3 videos a week, you're probably going to be crushing it. If you could do 10 a week, probably even better. However, what I know is agents that do that are going to mess up the quality. They're going to check the box. They're going to get burnt out. All the things you guys have all heard from Jackson time and time again. So 1 video a week minimum. 2 is always the best from what we do, from what we can see. We are actually talking about getting 3, but here's the thing. If you're not nailing average view duration, 7 minutes and above, if you're not getting 70% out of browse and suggested, if you're not getting your CTRs up into the, 4s for suggested, 5s into, browse and search, then reality is you have a lot of work to do, and you have a lot more things to get accomplished than versus just creating more, better, longer content, right? So number one, consistency, at least one video a week, make it the best that you can, and then make sure that you're measuring your metrics and you're checking those specific measurements. So therefore you can actually increase your output of content. However, if you're just starting a channel, then yes, you can do your 2 videos to start getting that information and letting YouTube collect that data, and then you can consistently get better. If you've got a channel and you've completely smoked it, what do I mean by smoke it? You got shorts, you got ads, you're doing videos about things that make no sense to your marketplace or what people that are relocating would actually be searching, I would just start a brand new channel following the exact strategy. Someone just posted that they had a channel with 16,000 subscribers. They never got a single lead and they're starting over. Take a look at someone like Barrett Raven out of Austin, Texas, did YouTube for 10 years, never believed he could actually generate leads off of YouTube, met Kyler Ferris, runs the second biggest Houston channel in Texas. Kyler said, hey, check out Jesse and Jackson at the Channel Junkies. He jumped into our program, and this year alone, he said he's going to close over 100 transactions on YouTube. 10 years, never generated a lead, came into our program last year. This year, he says he's going to close over 100 transactions. That's absolutely crazy. And it's because he's a great executioner of the plan. I see agents all the time on YouTube. Jackson, I do it your way. I do exactly what you tell me to do. I'm not generating any leads. No, you're not doing it the way Jackson says. What you're doing is you're taking one piece of information and you're using that to say that you're doing it the way Jackson. I saw it this morning. Someone's like, I'm making longer videos, but I'm still only showing up in search traffic. It's because you've already smoked your channel. You guys, this is not rocket science. Schedule a consultation with Perry, channeljunkies.com, click on the box, schedule a consult, let him look at your channel and see exactly what's going on. I guarantee you're going to leave with more information than what you're in. And if it was me, I would even be saying, hey, Jesse, let's do a channel consult with you because I can tell you in 30 minutes what is wrong with your channel, how we can get your channel on the right track, and what we can do to actually put yourself in a position of success. Because it's better to do nothing than the wrong thing. That's the craziest statement. It's better to do nothing than the wrong thing. Why? Because doing the wrong thing can take time, it can take energy, it can take money. Take a look at Barrett, 10 years doing YouTube the wrong way, but he wasn't looking at it as a lead generation resource. He was looking at it as a library of content that he never thought he could actually make money from. So he decided to take it serious, follow the plan, and boom, look what happens. Let's move into, so that's consistency. 1 video a week minimum. 2, if you want to do better, make it at the same time every week. Saturday has to be one of the days. If you said 1 video a week, it would always be Saturday morning. Why Saturday morning? That is the most opportunistic time that people are not working and they can spend more time on YouTube. So families will consistently wait for us to drop videos on Saturday morning. And then you're like, well, YouTube says the best time is Tuesday at 7 p.m. Don't pay attention to that scale. That metric even says YouTube's long-term output or performance is not based on this metric. So therefore, the biggest opportunity to get placed on the most people's home feeds, which if you don't know, and we'll talk about this under traffic sources, but homepage, when you open up your computer and you have videos on the homepage and in your phone in the feed, that is YouTube browse. So when YouTube blasts your video out to millions of people, guess what? That's what it's doing. That's pushing into browse. So on Saturday, more people are looking at YouTube than any time before. When it says Tuesday at 7 p.m., it's because people might have saved your video for later, or that's just the time those subscription notifications are getting around to watching your content. Here's a crazy statistic. Did you know that less than 1% of your views are actually coming from your subscribers? Yes, go in and look at your views from subscriber base. It's less than 1%. That is why doing the right content and letting YouTube put it on the most amount of people's pages as possible is the most important thing in the world. So let's talk about average view duration. That is our second limiter. Average view duration should be a minimum of 7 minutes. 7 minutes is what our basic standard of average view duration is. The reality is, back in the day, we used to do 8-minute videos. it is nearly impossible to have YouTube hit 7 minutes average view duration if your videos are only 8 minutes. Well, so you're like, well, I might as well make a 20-minute video, or I might as well make a 30-minute video. Here's the thing. When you're making these videos, what you need to do is you need to check and see what type of videos are performing the best. I work with some agents whose videos are getting the most performance out of 24 minutes, better than a 30-minute video. So we're not looking at percentage viewed really. We're looking at average view duration. 3 to 4 minutes is average. 5 to 6 minutes is good. 7 minutes is greater. If you're in a very competitive market like Houston, Texas, which is where Jackson is located, guess what? He's hitting 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-minute average view durations. That's because Jackson does those big, juicy videos. And what Jackson and I have talked about now over the past few weeks is really, mixing it up with some shorter videos. What do I mean shorter? I'm talking about 20 to 40-minute in length videos, because the reality is YouTube, somebody seeing your video for the first time, that's 2 hours, is going to have a very hard time swallowing that pill. However, if you make great content, you're better off making just better content in general, because people will save that video and they'll watch over the course of time. How many of you right now are saving videos and consuming it over the next 20, 30 days, right? You'll save a 30-minute video and you'll watch it a little bit every single day. If you were to equate long form to short form, they say 5 30-minute videos is equal to almost 3,000 short form videos. That's absolutely wild. That is why short form videos, I do not see rinse and repeat. You're like, well, I might be able to bring shorts in and add it as a lead magnet to my channel. No, that is not the way it works. That is the complete opposite way it works. That's why it absolutely drives Jackson and I crazy when people are like, oh, I put shorts on my channel because so-and-so said so. No, two wildly different audiences. They did not split out the algorithm. They actually just split out the metrics, which is not the algorithm. It's all signal strength into YouTube. So the thing is people that watch shorts do not watch long form and vice versa. It is not a good mixture of traffic source type. So that if you're bringing in all this short traffic and even all this ad revenue traffic, which are other limiters we'll talk about in a second, it's just going to mix up the signaling strength with YouTube. And we know that 92% of our traffic that is coming in from like shorts is only watching our channel one time ever and then bouncing out. So what I see is people that put shorts on their channel, they're consistently bringing in like 50 new subscribers, but they're losing 50 subscribers. And guess who they're losing? They're losing the long form subscribers. And I've done so much data analysis on this that shorts and ads on channel is going to create way more harm than any of just not even having it on there. Because what happens typically are agents will get bored, they'll get lazy, or they'll get burnt out, and they decide that the only way they can keep content flowing on their channel is shorts and ads. And then guess what? It completely takes their channel. I've had agents that are doing 30 to 50 transactions a year get burnt out. They start doing shorts, they start running ads, and their channel goes to zero. Then they hit me up and they're like, Jesse, my channel doesn't work anymore. What's going on? I'm like, well, you got shorts, you got ads. And they're like, well, can I revive my channel? And my answer is always the same. It's you might as well just start over from scratch. And the thing is we can typically get these channels back into production a lot quicker than trying to turn the boat around, because it could take at least 6 months to get the channel back on the right track. So you can either roll the dice and then see if it's going to work in 6 months, or just start from scratch, because I can see that the traffic that they've poured in their channel and the viewership over the past 90 days isn't high quality long form content viewers anyways. You've already screwed up yourself by putting all this garbage on your channel. That's not the viewership that's actually going to buy a house. So keep this channel going, keep pouring all of this crappy information into it, and let's just start a new long form channel that attracts high quality relocation clients that's willing to scale. That's the long and short of it. So I pretty much just hit 2 more limiters, which is ad traffics and short traffics, which I can actually tell you a little bit more about why shorts hurt relocation. It's just, you guys, these consumers are just scrolling for entertainment. These viewers are not actually serious about buying and selling houses. It's so crazy to me that people think that people make life-changing decisions by watching short form content. You guys, short form content in the grandiose, and you can hear every big influencer talk about this. Mr. Beast, Alex Hermosi, the list goes on. They all say your short form content is basically like an advertisement now, right? So you're like, well, then it's free advertising if I put in these short forms on my content. No, it's just like running Facebook ads to drive people to your channels. That it's not the best thing, because all you're doing is you're not positioning the content correctly to bring the viewers onto the channel the right way. And so then you might say, well, why don't I just create the right content to bring them on the channel the right way? Well, that's almost nearly impossible, because YouTube is out there looking for people that are willing to watch short form content. You always have to remember, what is the positioning of the content? What is the positioning of YouTube? What does YouTube want? YouTube does not care that we are here to sell real estate on social media. YouTube is looking for the consumer that they know your content is going to satisfy. So if you know that the consumer with the highest quality or the highest intent is watching your long form content, why wouldn't you just put only long form content on your channel? Well, ding, ding, I know the answer. It's because shorts are 10 times easier than long form. So you think by just putting all this crap out there on your channel, it's satisfying the needs of the algorithm. That's 100% unequivocally false. 100% data proven false. Here's the thing. Your impression rates on your long form videos are basically like your ads. Go and look at your guys' content if you've done shorts. Look at your channel and what happened to your long form content after you put shorts. Look at your viewership by category after the shorts. It is absolutely like driving your car off of a freaking cliff. I do not know one single agent in the country that has rinsed and repeated a short strategy in multiple markets that's generating 100 transactions a year. However, I've been able to rinse and repeat the YouTube long form strategy focused on high quality traffic for the last almost 10 years, doing the exact same thing every single year over and over and over with thousands of agents that are generating volume at scale. I hate even having this conversation, but I feel like I'm consistently defending it every week because some idiot got 1 million views on a video who sold a house thinks that's the way you do it. We're all comparing ourselves to Ryan Serhant, Frederick Eklund, Josh Altman, these big influencers that were pushed out there by Bravo. They have big influence on Instagram and TikTok because we all follow them. So now we magically think that that's the way to do it. That is not that's not exactly how they built their platforms. And it might work now because they have a big influence and they're getting referrals. So if you live in a huge referral market and it's touristy, that strategy might actually work. And I wouldn't even hate on you. I don't hate on anything that works. I'm just saying, prove to me it works at scale and let's have a conversation. And the same thing happens with ads. Advertisements is when you put ads is an interruption to your viewer. Let me get a sip real quick. Little Zin and a sip and a Celsius and a Zin, right? That's not Zin actually. It's I don't even know what these things are. They're little caffeine pouches. I love them. But going back to ads interrupts your viewer's experience. When someone clicks on a video about moving to a city, they're trying to learn something important. And if an ad magically pops up, do you think someone's going to watch your content for 30 minutes to an hour a week? And then they're magically going to go and work with another agent because a random ad popped up? Hell no. These people have a parasocial relationship with you. When people leave a video early, YouTube stops recommending it. Let me repeat that. When people leave a video early, YouTube stops recommending it. This is why the hook is so important on every video. You have to have a magical hook. If you're not hitting 70% retention on your hooks out of like in the first hour, then guess what? And it'll drop down to like 63 if your videos keep getting recommended. Guess what happens? YouTube stops promoting that on people's homepage because what's YouTube's goal? It's to keep people on the platform as long as possible. So if you know ads don't keep them on there as long as possible, if shorts don't keep them on there as long as possible, guess what YouTube's going to do? It's going to keep shoving your content in front of those people's face who's going to watch the least amount of time. It does the exact opposite of what we're talking about here. Average view duration at the end of the day is the most powerful thing. So the first 30 seconds and the retention rate is one of the most powerful signals to YouTube, and why having a hook that actually keeps people engaged till the very end of the video is most important. So if your analytics go like this, down like this, and then goes like this, and then boom, drops again at the end, you've done a very bad job. The agents that we coach goes like this, comes down like this, gradually declines, and then guess what? It pops back up at the end. How do you do that? It's by having a phenomenal hook, a phenomenal rehooking sequence, and then it's giving them the reveal at the end, because many of you still do it the old way. Hey, this is Jesse relocating to Portland, Oregon. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 pros and the 5 cons. Then you go into your video. And if you're moving out here, I am the #1 relocation agent, blah, 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 blah. And until next time, we'll see you later, right? That you're doing your hook, your call to action, your video, your outro with the call to action again. Guys, here's the deal. At the end of your video, if you're getting a big drop off, I'm going to give you one pro tip right now. So if you made it this far, guys, give me a like. If you guys love this information, here's a #1 pro tip. If you're talking about a house, let's just say you're giving a tour on a $500,000 house. Hey, this is Jesse, or I wouldn't even say that. I'd say, so you're thinking about relocating out here to Boise, Idaho? Well, I'm actually standing in front of one of the most highly desirable houses in the entire Treasure Valley. The location is a 10, the neighborhood's a 10, the builder's a 10, but guess what? The price is a 10.6. And I cannot wait to show you guys the inside of this house. So let's get into it. Boom, I hit you with the magnificent hook. I got you interested. I got you hooked. You want to know about the location. You want to know about the neighborhood. You want to know about the builder. And you want to know what the most important thing is, and that's that price, right? So I get to my end of my video. So this is what you guys all do. So you guys want to know what the price of this house? It's $699,000. And remember, I'm the #1 relocation agent in the marketplace. So if you're thinking about making that move, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, I got your back. When relocating out here, stop that right now. This is what you do. You guys just take that sequence and flip-flop it. All right, guys. So I know the question that you guys are all thinking to yourself is, what is the price of this house? And I cannot wait to share it with you. But before I do, remember, I am the #1 relocation out here, helping people just like you relocate every single day. So if you want to get a hold of me, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Days, nights, weekend, I got your back. And the price of this house is priced to sell today at $499,000. And if you want to see more houses just like this, go ahead and click on this playlist right here that I put together for you, and we'll see you over there. And until next time, we'll catch you later. Or if we can't, until next time, we'll catch you later, right? So all I did is I flipped that sequence. Boom. I hit them with that call to action at the end of the video, gave them the price at the last second, and then I redirected them to my playlist right here. Another huge signal strength for YouTube is the end screen click-through. So flip-flop the calls to action with the reveal. Boom. Get them right up to the playlist, right? That's exactly what you want to do. You want to do that every single time. So hopefully that makes sense. But that is, once again, it's exactly why ads are not a good thing. Ads will completely destroy your channel. So 2 things here. I got 2 questions. David asked me, what about live streaming? Here's the deal. Live streaming, go for it. It's going to generate the highest quality leads. You're probably going to see a lot of traffic out of the gate. If you guys have low-hanging fruit out there, they're going to call in immediately. Jack's nice to do this. We would do it live. We'd get like 3 hot leads. They'd be like, oh, I just watched your live show. I can't believe you guys are actually, on. And then boom, we'd get the calls. Then the next week we'd get nothing. Next week we'd get nothing. We'd be like, oh, it doesn't work anymore. So then we'd stop. These live videos last a while. So it's like, you got to remember, how often do I want to do them? What's my calls to actions? What position am I playing it into my content strategy? Is it to generate leads? Is it to satisfy a desire? What type of content? Dude, I think, honestly, I tell Jackson this all the time. I'm like, I think TikTok live home selling might become a thing in markets where there's a ton of new construction being sold where it's really cheap. So I could see people selling houses on TikTok live, like down in Houston. Like, hey guys, this house right here, this one's available, this one's available, this one's available. Maybe with crypto, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. But live streaming definitely can work as long as you know how it's going to be positioned in your content. And I would never say substitute it for any of your videos. I would do it as an add-on versus an and to. I do it as an and to, not an if, right? So my normal 2 videos and a live, not I'm going to now take my 2 normal videos and do 1 normal and 1 live. Never going to do that. Phil said, stop doing shorts over 2 months ago after doing them for a year, getting couple 100,000 views per video. Do I unlist them and then turn shorts off? I would honestly delete all of my short form content. I would never unlist those videos. Even the monetization is like 100 times less than YouTube long form. If you guys have to remember, if you unlist a video, even on your YouTube long form, if that video is connected to a playlist, it's still going to be recommended by YouTube. That's why, like, if you're trying to go for monetization and you have and you delete it, it will roll back those subscribers and those that view time. But we have to remember and ask ourselves, what is the position of our channel? This is even like what Hermosi says. Hermosi's like, because I'm in Hermosi's highest level coaching, you guys. This is one of the top creators in the world for making content. And this is what he says. When you decide to jump on a platform like YouTube, and remember, he didn't even believe in YouTube until 4 years ago when he connected with Grant Cardone. And Grant Cardone's like, dude, you need to get on YouTube. And then he's like, okay. So then he got on YouTube and his brand is like exploded from YouTube. And he's like, I would take YouTube over any other platform. He actually says podcast, but podcast is the longest build. There isn't a huge, for what he does, he's like, YouTube is the holy grail. But this is what he says. You have to make a decision. Am I going to get paid by the platform or am I going to get paid by a niched consumer? Okay, so now we know niche consumer is here. And let's move that bucket over to this side. So my niche consumer bucket is up here. Now you have to make another decision. Can I handle, is my client geographically restricted or is it global, right? So in real estate, we are geographically restricted by our licensing and how far we can drive and travel. So if that's the case, it's 100% long form. Nothing else matters. Highest quality long form content is going to win. Now, if you're like, I can service the world, I can service Italy, Spain, Germany, China, France, United States, Canada, it doesn't matter. I'm a global real estate professional. That is when a national messaging and shorts and all that stuff might actually work to your favor. However, people that don't sell real estate at a high level on social media will never understand this. I've coached with even Bet David Consulting. Super expensive. They're like, you guys need to do shorts on your channel. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah. It's funny. Then I go to Hermosi's team. They're like, have you guys considered shorts? And I said, yes, this is what we're doing, blah, 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 blah. We go through the full strategy. Alex is like, absolutely not. Do not put shorts on that. That is garbage. He's like, so it's like, there's different levels to content creation in our industry, in the world in general. So it really depends what your goal is and what the outcome you want it to be. If I was only attracting agents and I wanted to impress agents and I wanted to like sell them on all this hype, guess what I'd be doing? I would be doing short form content all day long because that's what is exciting. There's dopamine burst and you're super excited. You're like, oh, I'm attracted to this. Guess what? What we're attracted to as agents is not the same thing our consumers are attracted to. So hopefully that makes sense. You guys, if you guys want any sort of resources, you can go and get our scorecard on our website. So go to channeljunkies.com. You guys can download our scorecard. You guys can download our book for free, Audible. You guys can download our 14-day sprint if you're just trying to start a channel. We're giving it all away for free. What we want to do is we are repositioning Channel Junkies, which we've done over the past year, where we're working with the best YouTube agents in the industry that are looking to take their channel to parts unknown. If you're doing 300,000 in GCI from your channel, if you're doing 150,000 in GCI, we can either double your business in half the amount of time and help you scale it up from there. Or if you want to grow your channel beyond and just see what the opportunity is, I'm telling you, book a consult with Perry. It'll completely change your game. And at minimum, you should be doing a channel consult and then seeing if a channel audit is in store for you. You guys, we all have to invest in our growth. I spent over $250,000 in the past 12 months on masterminds, coaching, all of the things, traveling, events to make better content. So that way you guys can have a bigger impact in your guys' businesses. So I'm telling you right now, if YouTube is your main lead generation source or you're trying to make it, I would heavily advise investing in yourself and making sure you are doing this at the highest level, because like I said, it is better to do nothing than do the wrong thing. So let's talk about our next limiter, which is how much traffic is actually coming through on TV. Because if you're getting, well, before I talk about that, if you guys want to see how much traffic you're getting on TV, all you have to do is look at your studio, click on analytics, and you can go to the audience tab at the top. And right at the top there, there's a tab there that says audience by watch type. There's new. So those are people for the first time ever viewing your channel. There's returning viewers, which are, or sorry, casual. So those are people that have watched you up to the past 5 months. And then there's regulars. Those are people that have been watching for 6 months or longer. That's like your YouTube funnel, right? New, casual, regular, and we're trying to bring them down there. So if the core metric that we look at is 40 to 65 new, and this is only on that metric because it's a 28-day pool. 40 to 65 new, 20 to 35 regular, 20 to 35 casual, and then at the very bottom, 10 to 20 regular. That would be the perfect metric for a high producing channel. This is after looking at 10,000 channel audits and knowing what all the top producing agents channels look like. If you haven't been on the platform long enough, you're not going to have those metrics. Now, if we're looking at traffic sources and you're like, my TV is at 50% or greater, but all of my metrics are out of whack there. If you got 90% or more, or even 70% new or better or higher, and your TV is 50% or more, then you have a massive demand of consumers that just have this massive desire for the right kind of content, and you're not satisfying the need. If you have 50% of your viewership on TV and you have new traffic is way beyond 65, you have a massive desire to scale and grow your channel. It's the same, and the reason why is because people that watch TV are expecting long form content. Now, the other piece of the puzzle is if you have browse and suggested, if you're looking at your browse and suggested traffic sources, which this is the number one limiter for every channel, browse and suggested, it's the number one limiter. If your browse and suggested is not at 70%, you are missing the boat. Browse and suggested is the algorithm. When your video is put out in the YouTube recommended, when it's very first shot out of the cannon, what does it say? Your metrics say YouTube recommended, and it's always about 90% of your traffic. That is browse. That is the home screen. So when YouTube, you launch your videos, this is how YouTube operates, in case you didn't know. YouTube takes your videos and it puts it on everyone's homepage of their YouTube channel, who they think is going to watch your content. So when you open up your YouTube app on your computer, boom, that's homepage. You open up your phone and you swipe up, those are the videos, that's homepage. Those are recommended homepage views. You also have subscriber notification. Less than 1% of your views are coming from the notification button anymore. That's why I'm like, it's the subscriber. Asking for the subscriber on the call to action is a waste, because YouTube knows who wants to see your videos. So does your thumbnails, first of all, look complementary to the type of videos that you're seeing on your homepage? If the answer is no, guess what? Your consumer's having the same experience. So you guys ever wonder why your videos shoot out of the cannon? You guys get a bunch of views and then all of a sudden your video just flatlines? Because this is what happens. Your videos go out there, the signal strength is weak, and then guess what? Your 30-second retention rate's bad, your average view duration's low, you're optimizing for mobile, whatever it is, and guess what? YouTube has no desire to push you any further. I guarantee you, if you look at your suggested click-through rate on your videos, it's probably in the below 4% click-through rate on your suggested videos, on your suggested traffic, below 4%. Because if it was higher, guess what? The first wave of the army on YouTube. So imagine there's this invasion. What do they call the first front coming in? They call it the first wave. So that's browse. That's the front wave. The second wave is suggested traffic. So now YouTube has its signal strength up and knows exactly who that wants to put your videos in. Suggested is your video that pops up in the feed after your last video. It's got the highest average view duration. It should be double your traffic or your average view duration for your whole channel. So if your channel is at, say, 8 minutes average view duration or 6 minutes average view duration, your suggested traffic metric average view duration should be double that number. And if it's not, your content simply isn't long enough, or you're not keeping them on platform long enough. So when YouTube blasts it to browse, which is homepage, and not enough people click or the signal is low, it doesn't put it into suggested, and that's why your video stopped. If your suggested click-through rate was higher, above 4, it would keep pushing your videos. And guess what? That right there is one of the biggest unlocks in the game. Those two things I just told you, suggested traffic and browse at 70% and suggested click-through rate on your videos at above a 4 is the holy grail. That's the end of it, guys. That's literally the whole game right there, wrapped up into 2 pieces. And unfortunately, if you're mixing up the signals and all the things, it's the end of it's never going to happen. It's not going to go anywhere. It's like here's the thing. Everyone's level of success is different. I literally speak at thousands of events. I have one this week tomorrow on Wednesday in Seattle, and then I have another one the following week in Portland. I'm the main speaker at both of them, and I'll sit up on stage and I'm like, yeah, we do 150 to 200 transactions a year on YouTube with our own channels, blah, 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 blah. Then there'll be some other guy. It's like, oh, I have such a good program. I have so much success. And, we sell 7 houses a year on Instagram or on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, cool. They said they had success. I said I had success. We're both successful in our own eyes. And so that's why I always go back to say, look, I'm never going to poo-poo on anyone else's programs. I'm never going to say that I'm the best. All I'm going to say is I know what program has the highest opportunity for volume and scalability because we've done it in multiple markets around the world over and over and over and over again. And when you Google us and you look at our reviews, we have hundreds of positive reviews. I can't even find a negative review out there. However, when you look up all these other people, it's like there's thousands of bad reviews. It's crazy. And the thing is like when I think of Instagram programs, because I always explore, I'm on the hunt for, I want there to be something else that works like this. Trust me, I'm already making the content. Why not make it to do more of it, to have a higher level of ROI on my investments when I'm making content, right? The reality is, even when you see these short form programs anymore, all they're doing is they're literally taking your own content, which is what I just told you Hermosi said, is short form content is really like advertising. So if Instagram and Facebook and shorts all get paid ad revenue, but now your shorts are replacing their ads because people don't buy the ad revenue. They're like, I can just get you to make shorts, and that's now ads. Why wouldn't you put it? So what these short form creators tell you to do is spend behind your guys' short form content. Wait for the number 1 to pop off and put a boost behind it. Well, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook all know that that's the strategy, right? So all you're doing is creating ads. Once again, you just went through this cycle. You just added a layer to it to create ads for your business. And then there's the mini chat strategy. It's the exact same thing. I know all the people. I know all the coaches. I know all the traders in these spaces. Trust me, I go to them. I spend $5,000 to go sit in a room for 2 days to learn an Instagram strategy just because I'm like, I want to know if it actually works. It's freaking wild. So that is the restrictor there on TV watch time. And I kind of got sidetracked again because it's all of these things intertwine together, right? So all of these things work harmoniously together. And the final restrictor, and then I'll hit your guys' questions here, is the 48-hour view time tab. So you guys want to know if your channel is favored by the algorithm or not? All you need to do is go over to your analytics. And the reason I always look on my phone, and this is you guys see me look here, you look there, I have my studios pulled up. So that way I can point you guys in the right direction. So if you go into your guys' studio and you just click on analytics. So you scroll down there, right? Right there at the bottom, analytics, and you'll see your real-time viewers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's almost 5. So we're on Monday now. So the reality is a couple of days on these videos have been saturating the time. So I always say look when your video goes live, within a couple hours, because this metric's going to get weaker over the couple of days unless you have a massive channel like the Houston. So if I flip flop this to Houston really quick, you guys, I can show you my YouTube feed. It's crazy. I have access to thousands of channels. So here's the Houston one. This is real-time information. In 48 hours, we've had 10,773 views. Boom. If you have 5 or more over 50, you are favored by the algorithm. Today's Monday. The video has been out since Saturday on that first channel. If I looked on Saturday, they'd have like 8 over 5, 8 over 50. So you want 5 over 50. And that tells us if you're favored by the algorithm, because the algorithm is pushing your content. This is another way that I know shorts don't work. And another reason I know focusing on search traffic doesn't work. Search is a very, a very manualized process. YouTube pushes your content in browse and suggested first. And then if people manually search, and people know this now, when you guys know you guys like a video, you guys just like it, and YouTube starts feeding you more of it. That's why the algorithm is so powerful. That's why I'm like, subscribers don't really matter. They do matter, but they're not like a huge thing anymore. That's why my call to action is, if you're going to ask for one thing, if you say, hey, like, comment, subscribe, and reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, I just told you to do 6 things. You're not going to do any of them. So remember, you have one shot to do one thing with your audience on each video. What do you want it to be? If it's a heavily search optimized video, such as like pros and cons or cost of living, we know that viewer is probably very high up in the funnel. So it'd be like, so if you guys enjoy, I don't know what you guys think about these pros and cons, but if you guys have a better pro or a better con that you guys want to know about, I'd love to hear about it. But if you guys love this information and you're thinking about relocating out here and you want more content just like it, consider subscribing to the channel, because I'm making videos every single week just like this. But let's talk about con number 6, right? So once again, I didn't tell them to comment, but I said, if you guys are thinking this, I would love to hear about it, because that's stimulating a comment, and I didn't ask them for it. So this is like why understanding the language that you're using when you're making content is so important. And this is what we talk about with our elite coaching clients. We're always talking about your language, your positioning. I literally just saw an end screen click-through rate on a video have 6 clicks at the end. And this agent has been getting 0 forever. I said, change your messaging at the end of your video to this. Boom, that's a huge signal. And then the video popped off, because it was signaling to YouTube people were clicking through the next one. Remember, session time is very important to YouTube. It's one of the primary signals. So what I said, and then I said, hey, this was a great step. You guys made it, but now you have one more little tweak to make at the end of this video, because the language they were using, it was like a hard stop piece of language. It was like, so I've curated this playlist just for you. So if you want to see more like it, go ahead and click. And until next time, we'll catch you later. I said, no, you can't do that. I said, that's still like a hard stop. It's, so if you want to see more videos just like this, I've made this playlist just for you. So go ahead and click right here, and we'll see you over there. And if you can't, I totally understand. Until next time, we'll catch you later. So once again, as I said, I want you to click here. This is where you clicked. But if you can't and you don't have time, I understand. There's a big difference there. So we'll see on the next video if our clicks go up, right? Because the first positioning to me was a hard stop. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. And the reason that we set all of that up the way we do. So let's hit some of these questions and get through this real quick. What are your top 5 videos, types, topics you recommend for lead generation? So here's the thing, is like YouTube is we have top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel video strategy. So there's videos that you make to get the channel started or funnel traffic into your traffic. There's nurture style videos, and then there's bottom of funnel videos, which the bottom of the funnel to me are like home tours, which is funny because back in the day, Jackson and I were anti-home tours, because before COVID, no one cared about the house. They cared about the location and the space. Now no one cares so much about the location. All they care about is the house and space. So the consumer habits changed. And that's the other thing. You guys will notice Jackson and I never die on our hill. We never say this is the only way. No. We adjust, we adapt, and we overcome. That's what we do. That is how high-level executioners execute plans. They don't just say, this is my way is the highway, and I don't care if I go into bankruptcy. I'm going to always promote that my way is the best because my ego is number 1. No, results always have to be number 1. So when you ask go to the top 5 videos, I think about it from a stance of like, what are the top 5 videos I would put on a channel if it was brand new? I would do pros and cons of living in, cost of living in, whatever my primary driver to my city was, a full vlog tour, top 5 communities in, and probably like the top 7 reasons I would not move to whatever city. Negative positioning videos are very bad for your channel. These videos get virality People love them. They get addicted to the views once again. That's an ego-driven metric. It's not a closing style metric. Here's the crazy thing. My wife's channel, she's got 20 pending transactions right now. When she was doing it the old way, she was doing about 4 million in production. Then she wanted to get serious. I got her a videographer, started focusing on this strategy. She went to 10 million. Last year, they did a little over 16. This year, in the first half of the year, they're going to beat 16 mil. They've already got 20 pending. They've closed 200,000 in GCI. Last week, they got a check for each for like 47K. And this is just it's a pipeline game. So when I think of like the best 5 videos, I'm like, yeah, that's a good way to get started. And to me, that's like a 2.5 week strategy. So I'm looking out 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180, 365, like a full funnel strategy all the way through. I'm looking at my competition, not from their category stance, but I'm like wanting to see, is somebody in my market dominating? Is there more than one person dominating? What type of content are they making? Because I just want to make sure that if I'm doing pros and cons, if 5 people are in the same market, they all make the same 5 pros and cons videos, guess what? The video is not going to do anything. Jackson and I talk about this all the time. We're like, dude, imagine if we were just on the scene and we knew what we knew, all of our videos would get over 1 million views, and because nobody else would be making that content. But when every agent is making the exact same video, YouTube is not going to, it might recommend you out until the next one's released. That's why home tours used to do great, and now they slowed down because YouTube knows that there's another home tour coming right behind the next one. So therefore, it's like this consistent flow. Jackson, over the past couple of weeks, has completely changed up his strategy on home tours. And once again, our videos are taking off again. Go figure. Because once again, there is saturation of the algorithm where it gets so ingrained with your core audience that it knows exactly who to put your video in front of, when to slow the video down, blah, 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 blah. What we want to do is we want to keep traffic pumping into this channel. That's why I'm a huge fan of heavily optimized 10 to 20 minute videos on the Wednesday. And then Saturday, I'm pushing those 20-minute plus videos because that Wednesday video is acting like a catapult into my Saturday content. So hopefully that helps. Phil says 43% TV, mobile 32, computer 18. Yeah, that mobile phone viewership is way too high. We need to get that focused, pushed more to TV. That could also be a traffic driver issue. That could be a content length issue. And like I said before, the way you figure that out is go and look at your traffic source data. If your traffic source for suggested isn't double your traffic average or your channel average, then you have a length problem of content. If you're like, no, my average duration is 7 minutes, my suggested is 14 minutes, and all of my mix is good, I have 70% in browse and suggested, then what you have is a audience problem, and your content's hitting the wrong audience. And I see this happening a lot with agents that are focused on making content for cities that aren't the driver traffic. So let's just say you're in Dallas, Texas, and you're making content about, or that's a bad example. I don't know enough about Dallas. Let's just say you're in Boise, Idaho, and you're making content about Kuna, Idaho. That's all Kuna. Then that's when you would see something like that. It doesn't matter if you live in any suburb of any major city. The major city should always be the traffic driver. I don't care what you think. That's just the facts. So if you live in Detroit and you want to make content about, I don't even know a suburb of Detroit. Let's say Birmingham. You would think Birmingham, Alabama. You'd probably get a lot of people searching Birmingham. But if you lived in Birmingham, Michigan, you'd be wanting to make content based around Detroit. And you don't even have to do Detroit specific. It just, pros and cons of living in Detroit, best suburbs of Detroit, et cetera, et cetera. Search 44, external 20. Yeah. So I looked at your channel before I didn't look at the channel. When you said that you were getting external 20, I knew it was heavy Google. Happens a lot when people make real estate specific related content. That is a horrible metric to have. You want to get away from that external as fast as possible. Browse being at 20 is 19.1 is super low. Suggested at 6.4 is pretty normal. You want to get suggested up to about 20. Browse should be 50. Your search is way too high. This is our old strategy that all the gurus that ripped off and duplicated our programs all teach. That was the strategy that we made when we first started because there was no competition. Everyone was searching during the COVID era. Now, as the algorithms developed in this space, browse and suggested is where you need to focus because that's the algorithm. Search is not the algorithm. Search is 100% not the algorithm. When a channel is brand new, it means more and it's more important. However, search is a reason why YouTube recommended when your video first goes out does not include search. If YouTube, guys, it's so funny. I literally have these conversations with these freaking guys, with these other people all the time. They're like, oh, YouTube's a search engine. YouTube's a search engine. Shit, we've even said YouTube's a search engine, and it is. However, more than anything, if you guys have never seen the show The Social Dilemma on Netflix, go and watch that. It tells you how all social media platforms operate. Go to Netflix, watch tonight, Social Dilemma. It will tell you how every single platform operates. YouTube knows if you've downloaded Zillow, Google, Redfin. So if you're searching if you live in Portland, Oregon, and you're searching houses for sale in Houston and on Zillow, Redfin, and then you're on YouTube searching out Houston, Texas information, it knows that your likeliness of buying a house in Houston, Texas is extremely high. So guess what it's going to start doing? It's going to start shoving all of the content in front of their face that is about Houston. So what? That person's going to search one time houses in Houston, Texas, or moving to Houston, Texas. So yes, very high level viewer. There's a lot of people out there. So remember the sales funnel: problem recognition, exploring options. And that's exactly how the traffic works. They go onto YouTube, they search their title, then they see all these creators, they start watching around. They're like, Jesse's my favorite, Joe is my favorite. I'm going to choose between those two guys. And then they're going to make a decision at the bottom of the funnel. Maybe they're going to reach out and interview both of us. So they're going to call me. If I don't answer, guess what? They're going to call Joe. If they call Joe and Joe doesn't answer, guess what? They're going to call me. That's why speed to lead is so important. We know now that we have 2 channels in Houston. If we don't answer the first one, they always call another one, but sometimes they'll call our second line within like 5 minutes. Well, they could be calling another agent that's not on our team. And guess what? We lost that lead. So therefore, having a system in place like we have is very important. So when somebody misses a call on our team, guess what? Boom, instant text message. Hey, sorry I missed your call. Sorry I missed your call. We are currently out showing clients' houses, but I'd love to explore what you're looking for. Whatever it is. The goal for our bot is to qualify and book a Zoom call. It's that simple. And that's a back-end limiter. So I talked today a lot about front-end limiters. I could get into back-end limiters. This is really what we meet and coach with our clients. And I just opened up the boardroom, which I'm taking on 5 personal coaching clients in the YouTube space to make sure your systems, processes, content, everything is in lockstep for the next 12 months. You guys just go to channeljunkies.com and you'll even see schedule a call. Whatever the schedule is, consult, scale plus, whatever, just meet with Perry, see if there's a good fit. I'm telling you guys right now, if you're looking to build a 6-figure plus YouTube channel, even 7-figure, it is possible. We have 7-figure agents in our program. Last year, our clients did over $1 billion in production off of YouTube. Jackson and myself, we're still doing almost a couple hundred homes a year sales off of YouTube. And the crazy thing is year over year, this thing just keeps growing. And it's like, and then like the funnel comes in and now we get listings and, you start building this machine and you're a full-time content creator. And you guys, maybe you're like my wife and you're like, I'm just going to create content and let another agent close the deals. Crazy thing. I have multiple agents I work with. They only make content and the phone rings another agent. So I get agents like, oh yeah, I see this agent on YouTube and she doesn't close any deals or he doesn't close any deals. I looked him up. Well, guess what? It's because another agent is closing their deals. It's called, and actually someone called my team lead in Portland this week. And they're like, I looked you up, this lender from out of state. I looked you up. You don't close any deals. And she's like, actually I do. They just, all go to the team because in Portland, they don't separate out the team lead and the team agent on production. It just goes into one number, which I hate. That's what I love about the Houston market is it actually separates the two. So you get a team lead counter and you get a team agent counter. So actually I did submit for Real Trends this year. I should be in the top 10, but you guys have any last minute questions? You guys, I got 1 minute left. I'm going to hit this. I'm actually going to come back here live again. I got to figure out the streaming situation. But if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat box right now. I'm going to figure out the streaming thing. The way Facebook removed the live streams from going into multiple portals. So I noticed when I started the stream earlier from StreamYard, it wasn't pushing into YouTube and Facebook. So I shut it down really quick, and then I just popped up here. We have 20,000 subs on YouTube, 6,500 in our Facebook group. So if you're not in our Facebook group, we have tons of sharings in there. And you guys, this is what we do. We share insights. We're not gatekeepers. We give all the information away. The agents we work with, it's more intimate. I want to look at your business. I want to look at your channel. I can only give you a high level strategy of like what works, like from a 30,000 foot view. What I want to do, so I call it the blender approach. At the top of the blender, everything is smooth. Everything is good, right? Waters are calm. But at the blender where the blades are, all hell's breaking loose. It's a freaking tornado. Ice chunks are flying, like everything, debris is flying. It's crazy. That is what YouTube is like. I'm here at the 30,000 foot view where everything is like, I'm saying, this is the way it should look. This is the way it should look. All the metric signals I've given you is from coaching agents that do 20 deals a year into the hundreds. All of their analytics and metrics look very similar. So it's just some people haven't been in market time long enough. Actually, one of the coolest stories I had was an agent that did all of our stuff for free, and she got to 150,000 in GCI. She came into coaching, no channel management, nothing, just straight up coaching. And last year she did 390. And so she increased by, what is that? 390 minus 150. So $240,000 increase in GCI. Super cool. Number one, so I'm looking to open another office later in the year, another state. How far in advance should I start the Channel Junkies? Is Jackson licensed in all the states? No, he's not licensed in all the states. Jackson is only licensed in, I think, Oregon still. So in Texas, you just have to say non-licensed agent. In Idaho, you can't talk about real estate at all unless you're a licensed agent. So in Idaho, you have to be licensed. So it's always state compliant. If I was bouncing to another state, dude, I would be like, I don't know. If I was like a year out, I'd be like, all right. And especially if it was Florida, I think we could, if I was creating that perfect scenario, what I would do is I would just start making the content sooner than later. And once I got like 6 months worth of content loaded up, I would then start releasing it. And the thing is you're going to be like, oh, that video is outdated, this and that. The thing is the content is always relevant for the most part, because like most of your videos are getting a lot of the views in the first couple days. And if somebody calls you, dude, we release house videos all the time, home tours, when the house is already pending. Sometimes people call like, oh yeah, can you send me the information on the house? And we're like, sure. So we send it over and they're like, well, it's pending. It's like, yeah, unfortunately the house went pending the day that we released the video or a week before. It's funny. Now we get builders that call us. They're like, hey, every time you guys film a video for us, the house goes pending. So can you come out and film these houses? So build a lot of relationships. We're now having a lot of conversations with builders, developers. People are getting listings off of it from developers. So big listing projects. It's always going to be variable based on like what you're trying to get accomplished. So that's why I love having the conversations at a higher level and what your content strategy is. Because if you're like, oh, I just use my platform to recruit agents, or I use it to sell our sellers on our influence, it's like, cool, then that works. But I'm using it for a whole nother reason. So that's what I specialize in. But anyways, you guys keep kicking ass out there. I'm going to keep doing these lives in here on YouTube. And you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the group. Ask them. I'll hit them every single week. And until next time, homies, we'll catch you later.